All right, well, welcome back. Okay, so today's video is about the hearing that just went on in Congress. I didn't watch it, I listened to it. So I listened to the hearing in its entirety. It was a long ass hearing. Okay, so every now and then I would go look at the chat as well, and Fox was posting like headlines inside the chat on I guess different stories that they were either going to do or to just kind of put them in there. But one of the headlines was Adam Schiff. Let me see where I wrote it down. It's crazy that I would lose myself. Okay, so the first thing was in the opening of the hearing, Schiff declares the core of the impeachment inquiry, and said that if this isn't an impeachable conduct, what is? Which he was referring back to. He was saying that everything that the president did in Ukraine or talked about with Ukraine was impeachable conduct, but it wasn't, right? And then another thing that they had posted up, it says House Intel Committee ranking member Devin Nunes says that the impeachment hearing is a low rent. I think he said rent, right? It says Chairman Adam Schiff claims that he doesn't know the identity of the whistleblower. You know what? I wonder, can you still say that you don't know who the whistleblower is if you never ask him his name? Like, if you know the person in general, say for instance, you know, you've interacted with him, but you don't know his name, can that still qualify you as not knowing who he is? Because it's kind of like when you're doing something wrong and someone says, well, don't tell me the details. Like, because they don't want to be associated with it. Like, they don't want to be connected to it in any way. But that was one of the things that was on the headlines. And then it was like, let's see. It says White House Press Secretary Stephanie tweets calling the ongoing hearing boring. It was boring. It was super boring. The good parts was when the Republicans got a chance to get in there and actually ask them questions and do their narrative and stuff like that. That was entertaining, to be honest. The first hour and a half, man, I wanted to sleep during that thing, right? But obviously I couldn't. I was listening to it, so I couldn't just just sleep because I was at work too, right? And then it says, what does it say? I have it, like I said, I have it written down here because I took notes on the different things that was going on. And it says Attorney Steve Castor handles the questions for the GOP during the impeachment hearing. I think he did really good. When I was listening to it, the questions were very they were kind of almost to the point, but at the same time, he gave them chances to speak on the topics and stuff like that. And then Georgia Congressman Doug Collins mocks Ambassador Tyler testimony on Twitter. So I guess Collins was talking crap about the ambassador on Twitter. I bet it was pretty funny because, I mean, like I said, it was a very boring thing. So I guess you gotta keep it interesting, right? And then let's see, President Trump trashes the impeachment hearing, says I'm too busy to watch. Of course he's too busy to watch. He's got a country to run, right? He'll get a breakdown of it later on whenever he's doing other stuff, and I'm pretty sure they're letting him know certain details throughout his day. But yeah, he's too busy to watch. Why would he be watching? Right? Then it says Chris Wallace, Will Taylor, testimony very damaging to the president. No, there's nothing he said that was damaging to the president. Like I said, they were trying to tell the story, but all it was a story. It was a bunch of such and such told me. I was getting this impression out of what somebody else was doing. They had no knowledge of what was going on with the money in Ukraine and stuff like that. Even though they kept trying to point to the direction of which they they thought they knew, but they didn't know anything at all, right? So for them to say that it was damning to the president is far from the truth, right? And I get it. They're probably putting these links on the bottom of in the comment section to try to get people to look at them, right? Click on the link, check out what they have to say. But to be honest, I mean, there was nothing damning in there, right? Then it says Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan grills William Taylor. I don't know if it's Taylor or Tyler. I'm not quite sure. I think it's Taylor. Calls him call him the Democrats' star witness. Okay, so I mean, that's how they wrote it on the thing. I'm sorry about that. They chopped it up because it says Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan grills William Tyler, call him the Democrats' star witness. What he did say is that, hey, y'all chose that these two guys to be the starting witnesses that y'all gonna put forth in public, right? Two people who did not have firsthand knowledge of what was really going on in Ukraine. A bunch of hearsay, I got this impression, but it was just them trying to put two and two together. And so I really don't see why they picked them to start off. And if you're not going to put people up in front of the camera to actually know something, then why put them in front of the camera in the first place? Right? What was it? One of the people that was talking, because like I said, I couldn't see anybody. One of the people who was talking was saying, why don't we put, it might have been Jim Jordan, but it said, why don't we put the whistleblower in front of the camera and ask him, put the person who originated this whole thing, put him in front of the camera and let him explain what he saw and heard, right? And then it says Congressman Mark Meadows says impeachment hearing are a sham process. It is a sham. It is a sham process. Nobody's taking it serious. The whole thing was a very boring, uneventful event. They kept pointing out the whole thing about that chick getting fired or whatever, or getting relieved from duty over there. The ambassador Ivanovich. I'm not gonna try it. I'm not gonna try it. That's too hard. Maybe it's not too hard. I don't know. I just don't want to mess it up too much. But they were all talking about how she got fired or whatever. But they said that she was told back in July or April. I think it was April that she was being relieved of duty. But to be honest, what is the job of the ambassador? Isn't his job or the ambassador's job to just relay information back and forth from one country to the other country, right? That they would just sit there and communicate whatever the president wants, right? And whatever they're supposed to do it in the best interest of the country in which they live, right? But also they're looking out for the country where they're at too, because obviously you don't want no crap to break down while you're there, playing the middleman. But the president can get rid of whoever he wants. I mean, if you work in government, right, and you are in these positions where you're supposed to be just relaying information, yeah, you can be let go at any given moment. You don't have to have a reason to be let go, right? Maybe the president's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna put somebody else in there because I want to see what this person can do, right? But a lot of it was also they were talking about how they were instructing the other ambassador what not to do, right? Don't to tell him to disobey the president and this and that. I mean, who are you, right? Who are you? You're nobody. You're just somebody who's supposed to talk to this other president. But because you have access to this other president to another country that gives you the right to make calls like that, no, you're a nobody. That'd be like my boss telling somebody to tell me to get something from off the table or something, and then I tell the guy that told me that, no, fuck that, we ain't got to do it, right? You know, that'd make no sense, because if that person was instructed by my boss to come and tell me to do something, or to relay a message, or whatever the case may be, then I'm obligated to do so. And I'm going to be held accountable for not doing it. Now, for them to sit there and try to overstep their boundaries, I mean, who are you to do such a thing? You send the messages, you talk to the people, that's your job, right? To somewhat keep the peace. But ultimately, it's the president who decides what we do in these other countries, right? Because, you know, we vote for the people who control our states and our cities, right? And then we vote for someone who's going to control the nation. And you tell us, you say that, oh, well, the people put me here to fight for this and fight for that, right? Well, we put the president there to fight for what we believe and what we stand for. To not get involved in stuff that we shouldn't be involved in. Now, I don't know a lot about Ukraine. I've heard that they're corrupt. I heard that they were very close to Russia and stuff like that. And I can see us backing the Ukraine because they're very close to Russia. So if we wanted to put a couple bases there, maybe we can get away with doing that. So I don't know a whole lot about Ukraine. Okay? So all I have to say about Ukraine is, I mean, yeah, they got their money, they got everything else, but he still has to look into you. Right? You're new to the scene. You got the what is it? You got, oh no, I think y'all gained power in May or March. No, March. I think y'all gained power in March. And then took the presidency in July. I think that's what it was. I don't know the whole breakdown. I don't know it. I listened to it a little bit, right? But that was very quick. It was very quick to go from not having power to having power and then becoming the president. And so when something moves that fast, you should take a certain level of caution, right? Because you don't know what they're going to be doing. Now, I looked at the transcript earlier, right, to see if I seen anything about investigations, right? So, because everybody kept saying Donald Trump said to investigate Biden, investigate Biden, investigate Biden, investigate everybody, whatever, right? But I was looking at it, and Donald Trump doesn't say investigate at all. He says look into, but he doesn't say investigate. The only person who said investigate was the other president, right? Because I sat there and I was looking at that. And then Um, and so, but I don't understand what's the problem with doing that, with investigating Biden. To be honest, anyone running for president may have to be looked at from other countries if they have dealings in other countries. And I know y'all would say, y'all Democrats would say, well, Donald Trump has business in other countries too, right? And that is true. He does have businesses in other countries. But you have to also remember that he was a public person, like private person. He wasn't in the politics, right? So whatever his business dealings were there before he was a politician. Now, somebody like Biden, who was a lifetime politician, whose family is a lifetime politician, like his brother or whatever, right? See, his business in another country should be questioned. His family's businesses in those other countries should be questioned because he has a long history of being a politician, right? And to be on the up and up, you would think that you're going to have these investigations or just have these look-intos on you in these other countries to ensure that you're not doing anything corrupt. And that goes for any politician. See, they should have done that to Hillary and all the different things that she was into, right? They should do that for a lot of the people in Congress or anybody that's in office and stuff like that. Is that if you have dealings, if you're a politician and you have dealings in another country, that should be looked into. It should. Because you're a politician. You're making rules to benefit yourself and the people that you associate with. So that's why we want to know that you're up to par with everything. Right? You know, it's no different than the way that we would treat each other. If I'm looking for a job looks into me. He contacts my other jobs and he asks if I've ever stole anything. They'll ask if I was ever caught with drugs or done drugs at their job. They'll ask how much experience did I have at their job? What were my job duties? They ask all these questions on my history just to go from one job to another job. But we're not allowed to ask what's going on with this person in another country. See, the reason why Donald Trump didn't say nothing about Warren and all the other ones is that they probably don't have any dealings in another country. I don't really know. It's not like it's all public where they're just out there putting their business out there, which I think they should. Right? I think they should put in out there who they're in cahoots with. But with that being said, the whole thing is, it was a clown show. I will give Adam Schiff this. He didn't interrupt as much as Nadler does. That dude Nadler, he's something else. Anytime somebody's talking and Nadler's sitting up there, man, he don't like let nobody talk. He's always interrupting. But I mean, Schiff did do a better job at being up there, allowing people to talk. It was funny when they started to question him while he's sitting up there, and people were getting mad because they were questioning Adam Schiff while he's sitting up there on the chair, and they're like, "Oh, you can't question the chairman; it's against House rules and all this other stuff." That was hilarious to me. But I just want to do a video on that hearing because somebody should really look at that transcript again. Look at it. Look at the wording in it. Right? Because I went and looked at it a little bit. And I didn't read the whole thing. I haven't had a chance to read the whole thing. So I got glimpses of bits and pieces of it. But so far from what I've seen is that Donald Trump does not say anything about investigating anybody. Right? He doesn't not once say to investigate anything. He said look into them. See, when I say look into something, that means just check it out, right? If I say, hey, man, look at that guy over there, man. You should probably look into him, man. I don't know about that guy. And all that means is that the person I'm talking to will go up there and they'll, find out a little more information about him, right? And then either like let you know what's going on with him or turn that person in for something that he's doing wrong. But looking into somebody isn't a bad thing. Like I say, people do that to people all the time, right? Looking into something is not some damning information or damning thing that a president should be impeached for. Keeping the funds from Ukraine is not something that should be impeached from. He's ultimately in control of every dollar that comes out of this country, and he plays a big role into every dollar that comes into this country. Look, I don't trust you politicians to tell me the truth. I don't trust you to sit there and be honest with us to the point where whatever you say, we just believe. Right? So when you're sitting there putting on this clown show, ask yourself, do you really think we believe you? When you're up there trying to pussyfoot around the questions, you can't answer a question with direct yes or no. Right? We could see you trying to hold your tongue and trying to answer it without answering it. I've done that before. Answer a question without answering the question. But I don't know. I'm ready for the next one and the next one. I'll watch them or listen to them or whatever. But that thing was hilarious. I'm probably going to do another video later on. I'm not quite sure. But this one was just about the hearing earlier. Okay, so if it interests you, cool, check it out. But if not, I'll probably do another one in a little bit because I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do. All right, so y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all next time.